We have an absolute legend on the phone right now, and I'm going to bring him in now. This guy goes by the name of an 8-time Olympic medalist. And let me just say also something like 24 international medals in the sport of speed skating, but he's also an Ironman finisher, Apolo. Anton Ohno, thank you so much for being on the line. How are you?
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Oh man, we're excited to have you. Wow, this is great. What's what's been going on for you, and what's been sort of the big change to you physically, mentally, fitness wise, all that stuff through this odd time that we're experiencing?
It is definitely an odd time. I think for the most part, just trying to figure out how to get really creative with my workouts. I even broke out the old bike from 6 years ago when I was hammering away on during the Kona Ironman. So it's been a definitely a transition, but I think in two parts. The positive side is it really allows you to kind of have control over the time that you spend both with your loved ones and family at home. But it also forces you to recognize of where are the patterns of you kind of how many times can I keep going back and forth to the kitchen to have snacks. And overall the health and fitness thing is really just I think all about getting in a routine. So I think for many people who don't work from home, or those of you who have not had a lot of experience dealing with some of these things, it's a huge change. And so finding that kind of rhythm and pace, just like you would anything else in life, is really really important. And I feel blessed to be able to have kind of the resources here, so I can work out at home. But I've seen some pretty amazing creative ways of people, especially a lot of the triathletes, swimming and people throwing water on them. It's very cool to see that people are still not letting this get them down.
We're seeing some great footage of you here, Apollo, from your race in Kona a couple years ago, and you've obviously spent your nearly your entire life as an athlete. But specific to Ironman, what kind of lessons did Ironman teach you?
Oh, Ironman taught me a lot of lessons. I mean, first and foremost, look, I had an amazing team. Paula Newby Fraser was she was phenomenal in every single sense of the word, both in terms of the physical preparation, in terms of the program that she helped build, and then also, as all of you know, the real game within the game, which is between your ears. And so I think she understands that better than anyone, and we connected on a level. So I learned, I think, just how strong the mind is. And it was a great reminder for me. At that point in my career, I was retired for 4 years. I had always admired and had a lot of friends who were triathletes in the Olympic Training Center. I had never once in my wildest dreams thought that I would be able to complete an Ironman. And so when I was given this opportunity, I wanted to take it really seriously. B, I wanted to find out what would be a respectable time. And so I always remember this story. I called one of my friends who was a triathlete that I've known for many, many years. And I said, what would it take for me to kind of go under 10 hours? And he says, oh, don't worry, you won't. And so that stuck with me very, very early. And the only thing in my head, although we trained to go 10 hours and 30 minutes, I wanted to go through that process. And so look, these types of endurance races are are special. You have no music. It is you and the road, you and your physiological, just that pain and that relationship of, can I continue to keep going? And it's just a powerful human condition that always seems to arise. And during the last 6 miles of the run, during the Ironman, is when I really recognized, I was like, wow, I understand why people do this over and over and over again. It made so much sense to me. And so it also just gave me a tremendous amount of respect for people who do this on an ongoing basis. It really tests the will and the limits of the human spirit. And I think that that's really phenomenal. And especially times like right now, right? I always look back to that and think how people can become warriors in their own right. We're all facing our own demons. We're all facing our own battles, our own challenges. We've all made tons of mistakes, and it really, none of that stuff matters. It only matters how much you can get up, how many times you can get back up when you're knocked back down, and how you pivot and adapt, and how you can reinvent yourself in these situations, or how you can perceive these challenges coming at you and your reactions with your control. So it's much easier said than done, but a lot of those things I did learn while being out there on the swim, on the bike, during the run, in the energy lab. All these elements, this constant reflection and conversation in your mind of, am I good enough? Am I too tired? Did I push too hard? How's my nutrition? Do I have enough salt? I hear water sloshing out of my stomach. All these things, these conversations you're having they're really interesting. So look, I think at the end of the day, when someone asks me, what do you think that the greatest lesson was walking away from completing an Ironman? And I would just say just how strong um, I believed in myself. And it gave me this resounding confidence that I had before, but it was different, right? I was in a realm where I was in this world where everything was unfamiliar to me. I wasn't an endurance athlete. I hadn't spent that much time on the bike or running in those respects. And it was just a tremendous reminder that we can accomplish anything.
Fantastic, Apollo. That's great. Great stuff. Just final question. We want to thank you, of course, for being here. It's always great to hear your insight and your words. But just tell us, is there another Ironman or triathlon in your future?
I think at some point there's definitely going to be something, hopefully an Ironman and hopefully in Kona. But I do miss kind of the daily repetition of being out there on the bike and being out there for doing these brick runs. And um, there's something special. It's difficult for me to articulate to my friends who've never run a marathon or never done a triathlon, but I would hope so. Look, I learned a lot about
Awesome.
myself, and I think it's something that every human being should participate in some capacity, regardless of time, regardless of skill set. It's so good for your mind to be able to go through something like that, and it just helps you recognize how powerful and strong we can be as humans.
Oh, what a great way to close out. Thank you so much for your time. You're an absolute legend. We love watching you through all the phases of your life. Love watching and learning from you. So thanks. You have an awesome day out there. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay
Thanks, guys.
positive as you are.
Stay safe. Thank you. See ya.